Hello everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Daily. I'm Anna, your host, and I'm so happy you've chosen to spend your precious time here with me today. As always, this is the place where we learn English together, not through dry grammar rules, but through fascinating stories about life, science, and psychology. We'll speak slowly and use clear vocabulary so you can practice your listening while expanding your knowledge at the same time. Today, we have a very intriguing topic. It's related to something you might have eaten this morning. Something you crave when you're feeling down. Something that is secretly controlling your brain in ways you wouldn't expect. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. Are you ready? Let's step into the world of the sweet trap. I'd like to start with a little experiment. Imagine this. You're walking down a chilly street. You're exhausted. Suddenly, you pass a bakery. The door swings open. A gust of warm air rushes out and wraps around you like a blanket. That scent. Oh, it's absolutely enchanting. It's the smell of browned butter, pure vanilla, and the rich, intense aroma of melting chocolate. You didn't intend to stop, but your legs seem to have a mind of their own. You find yourself walking inside. Inside, the display cases are glowing. You see a tray of freshly baked donuts. They are plump and perfect, glazed with a layer of sugar that sparkles like tiny diamonds under the golden lights. Beside them are chocolate-covered croissants. The moment you lay eyes on them, your body shifts. Your mouth begins to water. Your stomach churns. Your heart skips a beat. You pull out your wallet. You buy a chocolate donut. You feel its warmth in your hand. And then, you take that first bite. Stop right there for a second. What just happened? In that moment, it feels like fireworks are exploding in your brain. Sweetness bursts on your tongue. A warm wave of pleasure spreads from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. For 10 short seconds, every worry disappears. You don't worry about work deadlines. You don't worry about electricity bills. You feel safe. You feel comforted. You feel loved. It feels like magic, doesn't it? But, my friends, it isn't magic. It's chemistry. And sadly, that wonderful chemical reaction is actually a gateway to a dangerous trap. Today, we are talking about sugar. We all have a complicated relationship with sugar. We love it. It's in your morning coffee. It's hidden in your sandwich bread. It's lurking in your healthy yogurt. It's even in your savory pasta sauce. It is the most common white powder in the world. But have you ever truly wondered what this innocent-looking white powder is doing to your brain? The answer might give you chills. Modern science shows that sugar isn't just about cavities or weight gain. Those are minor issues. The bigger problem is, sugar is changing your brain's architecture. It alters how you think. It controls your emotions. It might be the reason you feel anxious for no reason, why you're forgetful, and it can even push you toward depression. In this episode, we're going to travel deep inside your body. We'll explore why you can't stop at just one piece of chocolate. We'll learn about the insulin storm. And most importantly, we'll learn how to break this trap. Let's begin our journey. To understand why we are so vulnerable to a simple piece of cake, we cannot blame your lack of willpower. It's not because you are lazy or greedy. To find the real culprit, we need to turn back the clock. Join me on a journey to the past, about 50,000 years ago. Let's meet our ancestor. Let's call him the hunter. The hunter lived in a world very different from ours. He lived in wild forests or vast, open savannas. His life was incredibly harsh. Every morning he woke up, his only mission was, "Don't die." The hunter was always in a state of energy deficiency. Food was extremely scarce. In the natural world back then, there were no supermarkets, no refrigerators. And most importantly, almost nothing in nature was sweet. Leaves were bitter. Roots were tough and woody. Animal meat was plain or salty. So, imagine one day, the hunter is walking through the woods and happens to find a tree of ripe, plump figs, or a bush full of sweet berries. For the hunter, this wasn't just a snack. This was like winning the lottery. Why? Why was sweetness so vital? There are two main reasons. First, sweetness means energy. Sugar is the most concentrated and easily absorbed fuel source. It provides immediate energy so the hunter could run from a predator or chase down prey. Second, sweetness means safety. In nature, there's a golden rule: bitter things are often poisonous. Sweet things are usually safe to eat. Therefore, over thousands of years, the hunter's brain programmed a very powerful survival software. The rule of that software was, if you see something sweet, eat it. Eat it immediately. And eat as much as possible. The hunter never said to himself, "I'll only have 2 figs, I'm on a diet to stay in shape." No, he ate until his stomach was bulging. Why? Because he didn't know when he would find his next meal. It could be in 3 days. It could be a week. Stockpiling energy as body fat was the key to surviving the winter. It was a superpower that kept the human race from going extinct. But here is our problem. Fast forward to the year 2026. You are sitting here, listening to this podcast. You have the exact same genes as the hunter. You have the same brain, the same biological system. But your environment has changed completely. You don't live in a forest where food is scarce. You are living in a sugar jungle. Sugar is everywhere. It's dirt cheap. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You just step into a convenience store, and with $5, you can buy 5,000 calories of sugar, the amount of energy that would have taken the hunter an entire month to find. But your primitive brain doesn't know that. It hasn't received a software update. When your eyes see a cream cake, your 50,000-year-old brain still screams, "Rare opportunity." You hit the jackpot. Eat it. Eat the whole thing. We need to survive the famine. But the famine never comes. You eat sugar. Then you have lunch. Then you drink milk tea. Then you have dinner. We are operating an ancient biological machine in a modern world of overabundance. And this mismatch is the foundation of almost every health problem we face. We are programmed to desperately love the very thing that is killing us. So, we've learned about our primitive brain. But that's only half the story. To truly understand why you can mindlessly munch through an entire pack of Oreos in 10 minutes while binge-watching Netflix, we need to look at a powerful chemical called dopamine. You've probably heard of it. People often call it the happiness hormone. But actually, a more accurate definition for dopamine is the hormone of desire and reward. Think of dopamine as a messaging system in your brain. When you do something beneficial for survival, like drinking water when thirsty, or connecting with friends, your brain squirts out a small amount of dopamine. This message says, "Good job. That felt great. Remember this and do it again next time." This system is wonderful. It helps humans learn and grow. But sugar is a master thief. It hijacks this system. Sugar isn't just food. In terms of its impact on the brain, sugar acts like an addictive drug. Brain scans show that when you eat sugar, the same areas of your brain light up as when cocaine is used. When you eat sugar, the brain doesn't just release a gentle trickle of dopamine. It creates a dopamine flood. A violent explosion. Your brain screams in ecstasy. Amazing. This is unbelievable. Do it again. Right now. That's why your logic says, just one bite. But your brain chemistry screams, more. In the battle between logic and chemistry, chemistry usually wins. And now, we come to the most terrifying concept: tolerance. You might think, okay, sugar makes me happy. What's wrong with that? Life needs joy. The problem is, our brains are always trying to maintain balance. Let me use a music analogy to help you understand. Imagine you're wearing headphones listening to your favorite song. At first, you set the volume at level 5. It sounds great, clear, and you feel energized. But if you listen at level 5 constantly, all day, every day, your ears become numb. After a month, level 5 sounds too quiet. You don't feel that rush anymore. So, what do? You crank the volume up to 8. Then 10. You need a higher volume just to reach the same normal feeling you had before. This is exactly what happens with sugar. The first time you have ice cream, it's magical. But if you eat it every day, the dopamine receptors in your brain become overwhelmed. They protect themselves by becoming less sensitive. They shut their doors. Suddenly, one ice cream isn't enough. You don't feel joy, you feel empty. So, you need 2 scoops. Then a soda. Then a pastry. You eat more and more sugar, not to feel high, but just to feel normal, to escape the crash. This is the textbook definition of addiction. There is another dark truth. Food corporations know this better than anyone. They don't cook like your grandmother. They design food in laboratories. They hire top mathematicians and chemists to find what is called the bliss point. The bliss point is the golden ratio of sugar, salt, and fat. It's a proportion so perfect that it makes your brain explode with pleasure. At the same time, it silences your fullness signals. Have you ever noticed that you can eat chicken and feel full, but you can finish a whole tube of Pringles or a giant bottle of Coke and still want more? That's not an accident. That is engineering. They design food to bypass your body's stop button. You are fighting against thousands of scientists whose job is to make you addicted to their products. We've just talked about what happens in the brain. Now, let's look a little further down. Let's see what happens in your bloodstream. This is the story of a dangerous ride: blood sugar volatility. Imagine your energy levels throughout the day like a car on a roller coaster. 8 a.m., you're rushing to work. You stop by a coffee shop and order a sweet caramel macchiato and a blueberry muffin. Delicious. You eat it. Sugar floods into your blood like a burst dam. Your blood sugar levels spike vertically. For the first 30 minutes, you feel like a superhero. This is called a sugar high. You speak faster, type faster, and feel like you can conquer the world. But the laws of physics say, what goes up must come down. And in biology, the faster you rise, the harder you fall. When your blood sugar levels get too high, your body enters a state of panic. High sugar levels act as a toxin to your blood vessels. Your body screams, emergency, toxic levels. Remove the sugar now. This is when an organ called the pancreas steps in. It pumps out a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin as a set of keys. Your body is made up of billions of cells. Imagine each cell is a tiny room with a locked door. Sugar wants to get inside the cell to be turned into energy, but it can't open the door by itself. Insulin arrives, inserts the key into the lock on the cell door, and opens it. It commands, "Open up. Let the sugar in." At that point, sugar leaves the bloodstream and enters the cells. Your blood sugar levels drop. This is a natural and healthy process. However, when you eat a breakfast with as much sugar as that muffin, your pancreas has to overwork. It pumps out a massive amount of insulin, like an army of firefighters putting out a blaze. This army works too fast and too aggressively. They brutally clear the sugar from your blood. The consequence? Your blood sugar doesn't just return to normal. It plummets far below the safety level. This is the crash. 10 a.m. Just 2 hours after that superher breakfast, you suddenly feel terrible. Your hands are a bit shaky. Your legs feel weak. You feel anxious for no reason. And worst of all, brain fog. You stare at the computer screen but can't focus. You read an email 3 times but don't understand it. You feel sluggish. And your emotions shift. You become hangry. This is a clever English blend of hungry and angry. When you're hangry, you're easily irritated. You snap at a colleague over a small mistake. You lose patience with your children. You feel like the whole world is against you. Why? Because your brain runs primarily on glucose. When blood sugar drops too fast, the brain thinks it's being starved. It sends out an SOS. We need energy. Save me. And what's the fastest source of energy? Sugar, again. So you run to the break room, grab a cookie or a soda. Your blood sugar spikes again. You feel better. But then, an hour later, it crashes again. Up, down, up, down. You spend your entire day on this roller coaster. By the end of the day, you are utterly exhausted, not because of work, but because your body has been fighting for chemical balance all day long. But the horror story doesn't end there. If you ride this roller coaster every day for 10 or 20 years, a catastrophe happens. Remember the image. Insulin is the key, and the cell has the lock. If you put the key in the lock and turn it forcefully dozens of times every single day, what happens? The lock wears out. The lock breaks. One day, insulin knocks on the cell door. It inserts the key. But the door won't open. The cell says, "I'm fed up. I'm already stuffed with sugar. Stop bothering me. Go away." This condition is called insulin resistance. When cells refuse to open the door, sugar cannot enter to create energy. It gets trapped in the bloodstream. Your blood becomes as thick as syrup. The sugar begins to destroy your blood vessels, damaging your eyes, kidneys, and heart. And the pancreas, the poor worker, sees that sugar is still high. So it tries even harder to pump out more insulin, making the situation even worse. This is the beginning of type 2 diabetes. And it all starts with those seemingly harmless, sweet breakfasts we eat every day. There's a very common English phrase that I'm sure you've heard: comfort food. When we're sad, when we go through a breakup, or when we have a terrible day at the office, what do we usually reach for? A tub of ice cream, a chocolate bar, a pastry. We tell ourselves, I'm eating this to feel better. I deserve some comfort. But modern science is telling us a harsh truth: comfort food is actually making you sadder. There is growing scientific evidence showing a direct link between a high-sugar diet and serious mental health issues like anxiety and depression. To explain this simply, I want to invite you into an imaginary garden. Imagine your brain is a lush, beautiful garden. In this garden, the trees are your neurons, nerve cells. For these trees to be green, to bloom, and to grow tall, you need to water them, and most importantly, you need fertilizer. Our brains have a magical, natural fertilizer. Its scientific name is BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It sounds complicated, but you just need to remember it as brain fertilizer. What is the job of BDNF? It helps the brain repair damaged cells. It helps create new connections. That's how you learn new vocabulary or skills. And most importantly, it protects you from stress. When BDNF levels are high, you feel optimistic, happy, and resilient in the face of difficulties. But here is the bad news: sugar is the enemy of BDNF. Studies show that a diet high in sugar and processed foods suppresses the production of BDNF. Imagine you stop watering and fertilizing your garden. What happens? The trees start to wither. The leaves turn yellow. Growth stops. Eventually, the garden becomes a wasteland. That is exactly what happens in your head without BDNF. Brain cells start to shrink. And how does that feel? Depression, emptiness, forgetfulness. This is why people with diabetes are twice as likely to suffer from depression compared to others. But that's not all. There's another terrifying concept: inflammation. Normally, we think of inflammation on the outside. When you cut your finger, it swells up, gets red, hot, and painful. That's a good response. Your body is sending blood to heal the wound. But sugar causes a different kind of inflammation. It causes chronic inflammation deep inside your body where you can't see it. And most dangerously, it causes inflammation in the brain. Imagine a small, smoldering fire burning inside your head. It's not big enough to kill you instantly, but it releases toxic smoke every day. This fire damages brain cells and disrupts neural signals. The result? You think more slowly. You feel mentally exhausted. Your information processing speed drops. So, that sweet donut didn't just go into your stomach. It actually ignited a fire in your brain. Is 10 seconds of joy worth days of sadness and fatigue? I don't think so. By now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Sugar is scary. Starting tomorrow, I'll stop eating candy and drinking milk tea. Problem solved, right? Oh, I wish it were that simple. But this battle is harder than you think because sugar is a master of disguise. Sugar is like a highly skilled spy. It hides in places you'd never expect. If you hold a Snickers bar, you know it has sugar. That is an obvious enemy. But let's take a stroll through the supermarket. Look at the bread aisle. White sandwich bread? It's packed with sugar to activate the yeast and make it taste good. Look at the sauces. Pasta sauce? You think it's savory, right? Wrong. One jar of sauce can contain as much sugar as a chocolate bar. And salad dressing? You eat salad to lose weight, but the dressing you drizzle over it is a sugar bomb. And then there's the biggest trap in nutritional history, the low-fat label. In the 1980s and 90s, the world was afraid of fat. People thought eating fat made you fat. So, food companies started removing fat from their products. They made low-fat yogurt and low-fat cookies. But there was a technical problem. Fat provides flavor. When you remove fat, food tastes like cardboard. And nobody wants to eat cardboard. So, what did manufacturers do to save the flavor? They dumped sugar in. Lots of it. So next time you see 0% fat strawberry yogurt, be careful. You are trading healthy fats for a massive dose of sugar. Sugar is also very cunning with its naming. If you flip over a package and read the ingredients, you might not see the word sugar. But that doesn't mean it's not there. Sugar has over 60 different names. Manufacturers split sugar into different types of names to deceive you. Here's a tip for you. Look for words ending in "ose." That is the chemical signature of sugar: glucose, fructose, dextrose, maltose, sucrose. Or be wary of names that sound natural and healthy, such as agave nectar. It sounds fancy, but it's 90% fructose, which is extremely hard on your liver. Rice syrup, fruit juice concentrate, or cane juice. Your body, and especially your liver, doesn't care how beautiful the name sounds. Whether it's organic nectar or white table sugar. Once it's inside, it triggers the same insulin response and the same fat storage. Finally, let's talk about the biggest lie we often tell children. Fruit juice is good for you. We think it's squeezed from an orange, so of course it's healthy. But let's analyze this. When you eat a whole orange, you have to peel it. You have to chew it. An orange contains a lot of fiber. Fiber is the key. It acts like a net, slowing down the sugar as it enters your blood. It makes you feel full. You rarely eat 4 oranges at once, right? But when you drink a glass of juice, you've thrown the fiber, the best part, into the trash. You only kept the water and the sugar. To make 1 glass, you need 4 or 5 oranges. And you gulp it down in 1 minute. That is a massive amount of sugar hitting your liver all at once. Biologically, a glass of orange juice affects your liver almost exactly like a can of Coca-Cola. So my advice: eat your fruit, don't drink it. We've come a long way. We know sugar is addictive. We know it damages the brain. We know it's a hidden spy. So the million-dollar question is, what do we do now? Should you run to the kitchen, throw everything away, and swear never to eat a grain of sugar again? No, that is a terrible plan. It's a recipe for failure. If you try to be perfect, you will collapse. Instead, we need a smart strategy. A gentle revolution. Here are 3 golden rules to quit sugar without the suffering. Rule number 1. Don't go cold turkey. In English, There's a great idiom, cold turkey. It means stopping a bad habit abruptly and completely. Because sugar is addictive. If you're used to 3 sodas a day and you cut them out completely tomorrow, your body will protest. You'll get intense headaches. You'll feel exhausted. You'll be irritable. This is withdrawal syndrome. Your brain is screaming for dopamine. Usually, after 3 days of suffering, you'll give up and eat twice as much sugar as before. So, be gentle. Be kind to yourself. If you usually put 2 spoons of sugar in your coffee, next week, try just 1. The week after, try half a spoon. Give your taste buds time to adapt. You'll be surprised. After 2 to 3 weeks of gradual reduction, your palate will shift. One day, you'll try that old 2-spoon coffee again and think, yuck. That's way too sweet. That's when you know you've won. Rule number 2. Change your breakfast. If you change only one meal, make it breakfast. This is the meal that decides the destiny of your blood sugar for the rest of the day. Most modern breakfasts are a disaster: sugary cereal, jam on toast, pastries, or sweet coffee. If you start your day with sugar, your insulin spikes and then crashes by 10 a.m. For the rest of the day, you'll be craving sugar like a zombie. Instead, switch to a savory breakfast. Focus on protein and healthy fats. Have an omelet. Eat avocado. Have some nuts or unsweetened Greek yogurt. Protein and fat digest slowly. They provide steady energy like a slow-burning fire, rather than a sudden flare-up that dies out. You'll feel full and focused all the way until lunch. Rule number 3, the 10-minute walk. This is a brilliant little hack discovered by science. There will be times when you have to eat sweets, birthdays, weddings, or just a moment when you really want a treat. That's okay. Eat it. But don't sit still afterward. Immediately after eating something sweet, stand up. Take a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk. Do some light housework or a few squats. Why? Because your muscles act like a sponge. When you move your muscles, they need energy. They will immediately soak up the excess sugar floating in your bloodstream to burn it off. This prevents the massive insulin spike. You get to enjoy your treat while minimizing the damage to your brain and body. It's a win-win. My dear friends, we have reached the end of our journey exploring the sweet trap. I want to leave you with one final thought. The goal of this podcast isn't to make you afraid of food. I don't want you to look at a birthday cake as if it's poison. Life is short. Parties, dates, and shared meals are the joys of living. Our goal isn't perfection. Our goal is freedom. Right now, for many people, sugar is the master and we are the slaves. We eat it mindlessly when we are sad, happy, or bored. It controls our emotions. I want you to take back that control. I want you to eat a cookie because you truly want to enjoy its flavor, not because you need it to survive a stressful moment. Remember the 80-20th rule. Eat whole, nutrient-dense, brain-healthy foods 80% of the time. And feel free to enjoy your favorite dessert in the remaining 20%. When you do this, when you break free from sugar addiction, something magical happens. The brain fog lifts. Your energy returns. You wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, not sluggish. And you'll discover that life is actually sweeter than you thought. When your taste buds are no longer numbed by artificial sugar, you'll find that an apple tastes amazingly sweet. You'll taste the sweetness in carrots and almonds. A profound conversation with a friend will provide a stronger dopamine hit than any candy bar. A good night's sleep will restore you better than any energy drink. So, the next time you stand in front of a pastry display, remember the hunter in the forest. Remember the insulin roller coaster. Remember the fire in the brain. And smile as you make a choice that shows you truly love yourself. Thank you for listening to this episode of Simple English Daily. I hope it brought value to your life. If you found this episode helpful, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps our channel grow and brings this knowledge to more people. And I have a question for you today. What is your favorite breakfast? Is it sweet or savory? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read them and chat with you. Don't forget to share this episode with your loved ones who might be sugar addicted without even knowing it. Wishing you a week full of real energy, a clear mind, and a healthy heart. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.